Hello and welcome to the 12 Months to Marathon podcast with me, John Hill, the running podcast for the over 35s with Marathon Dreams, episode 61, Great North Run review and the kindness of running. So what's going on with me at the moment? Well, clues in the title. Did the Great North Run last Sunday, the very infamous now Great North Run. If you've read up about the medal controversy and the t-shirt controversy, I'll let you go and Google that. If you did the Great North Run, I hope you had as good a time as I did. It was a fantastic experience. If you're not from here in the UK and you're not familiar with it, it's the largest half marathon in the world in terms of participants, and it's one of the most iconic events in this country. And I didn't realise that until I did it, until you actually go and do this run, how big it actually is in terms of people. So I've done the London Marathon twice, but this was different level, because I think it's because obviously there was more people and it's a bit more condensed, Newcastle, than London. Because if you do London, when you start London in Blackheath, it's all quite open on that sort of park where you start off and then they funnel everybody on the road. But here, once you got into the start bit, which was on like a little bit like a dual carriageway road type of thing, it was just people, and it was a phenomenal event, and it was very euphoric, and I was very fortunate to do it for the Birmingham Children's Hospital, which is a local children's hospital here to me, one of the best in the country, who looked after my son when he was 6 months old. He had a major operation, and they've looked after him a few times since, and I raised quite a bit of money for them, so I was really happy and honoured to do that as well, so it was very good. Fantastic event, again, just to say that it was really, really good. And then, of course, I'm now straight back into Hyrox training for October, 6 weeks as I record this, just away, which is the next big thing, which is a significant challenge for me because it's a different type of training, and it's something that's going to stretch me out a lot, which I'm preparing for, and I'm just trying to manage my recovery a little bit with obviously trying to then make sure that I stay on point for Hyrox, which is a bit of a challenge, but that's part of what we do, isn't it? And that's great. So I wanted to talk about the Great North Run, and actually I wanted to talk about running events in general today. This one's a bit off the cuff because a lot of people listen to this podcast for tips and hints and all that sort of business, and I appreciate that, and hopefully it adds value, and a lot of people have told me so. What I saw at the Great North Run and what I've seen at other running events is, I've said this before, I've seen the best of people, really, and running is a really good way to bring all sorts of people together and have no real agenda to it, if that makes sense. Because I think, personally, and it can improve, it can be better, of course, as all things can, but I think running's probably one of the most inclusive things out there, in the sense of a lot of people will support each other. Now, of course, you're always going to get some people, and I think the problem here is that we spend so much time online that we don't ever truly gauge what people are like, because if you've ever had any abuse online and you've ever had anyone say things to you online, and if you want to go back and listen to my interview with Michelle, one of the reasons why I wanted to listen to Michelle Waddell, running lady, is because she does get a lot of flack online, and I think to deal with that and still keep your running going, maintain your running, keep your composure, keep your confidence, is a very valuable skill to have, because of course online, as we've seen recently and we will continue to see, it's very easy for people to say things to other people and say things to you because there's no filters and there's no consequences. And I think there's a wonderful quote by Mike Tyson who said, social media's made everybody soft because, if you said half the stuff that people say to people online, you get punched in the face in real life. And there's an element of truth to that in terms of how we approach it. And when you go and do a large running event, and this is why I'll encourage everybody to go and do a large running event, because you will see the best of people and you will see your faith in humanity restored, the support, and particularly on certain events. And I've been very fortunate to do, the London Marathon twice. It's probably the biggest event in terms of numbers of people and also the aura around the event. Is not only is it the event itself and it's the runners at the event, it's the people surrounding it, it's the support, it's when you're walking away with your medal and your t-shirt and people know. I had people in Newcastle on Sunday saying to me, well done and well done, and people know what it is and they know what it's about and they want to talk to you about it and they want to be curious and they want to find out because they're genuinely curious about it and they want to know about such an iconic event. And that's why for me it's important to do those things. And if you ever doubt yourself and if you ever feel bad about yourself, or you're getting suckered into things online that are perhaps taking you down a route that's making you angry or making you frustrated or making you feel, making you think less of yourself is the expression I'm looking for here, then running is a great way, I think, to fix that. And when I say running, I mean running in person. I don't mean online. Yes, there are some supportive running communities online. Of course, you can join my free one. The link is always in the description and also at my bio at 12 Monster Marathon. But I think for me, going and doing even a park run, a well-attended park run, is another way to see the best of people. Now, yes, there are always people at events who are performers and they just want to run and get out there and just do whatever they do and just fly off, and that's fine. But most people at these running events want to enjoy the experience, and sometimes I think we don't enjoy the experience because we get inside our own heads or we start thinking less of ourselves and all this. And for me, that's not the way to go. And I think running is a very poignant way for us all to show kindness and support and encouragement to each other and to set the standard, because when things happen, and because of online, it's almost like some people, not all people of course, get the free rein to say whatever they want to people, and that's okay if that's what you want to do, that's your choice. But kindness and humanity and gratitude are things that you have to practice, and some people have to learn, and it's hard to do that when life's hard and you've got challenges, and let's say you're a runner and you're trying to fit runs in and you're comparing yourself constantly and you feel bad about yourself and you've got all these things going on. It's very hard to maintain a solid running routine. And then you can, often for a lot of people, we go on the internet to sedate ourselves, to make ourselves feel better, which then causes more problems because it forces us to have FOMO or to think we're less than we are, or we go onto Strava and that person's running as fast as they always run, or people are on there saying they did an easy run when they're just saying that it might not have been an easy run, but they're just saying that because they want to show off about their pace. And people do that, and that's okay. Again, that's them. But if you're feeling a little bit fragile, you might not be in the place to see that. And it's important to do things that nourish your soul. Running's one of those things, but running with all the comparison and with all the tech and with all that can diminish it. And I'll give you a good example of this at the moment. So my Garmin is basically telling me that I'm a mess. It's telling me that my training readiness is low. It's telling me that my heart rate variability is low, but I feel okay. I feel absolutely fine. My resting heart rate's fine. My sleep's been fine. My stress levels have been fine. And if I believe the watch, I'm having to make a balance here and go, well, actually, should I believe this watch? Because I feel okay. I led into the run okay, and I sort of recovered well. And the reason why I say that is because it brings us back to this thing about technology and how much we're enslaved to it in certain aspects, and we go against how we feel. And running should be a feeling. It should be something that you feel, and something you should feel like doing and enjoy doing. And again, what I saw on Sunday was the best of people. And there were people there who were genuinely happy to be there. There were people who lined the streets who were happy to see people. There were people who were just amazed by the number of people that were there. There were people raising money, and I saw a guy running in like a dinner suit, a tuxedo, with a bucket, and it was quite warm as well. And you see these things that are just fantastic, and it just renews for me, it renews my faith in humanity. And I think we can all be a little bit nicer and a little bit kinder, no matter what we think about and what our opinions are. And I think running's a great way to do that. And if you're feeling a bit low, or you're maybe not as confident as you would like to be in your running at the moment, then the best thing I would say to do is go and do a park run, or go and do an event, or go and do something where you're going to be around other people, so you can renew that sense of love and renew that sense of passion for it and gratitude. Because let's be honest, the ability to move, and particularly run, is a luxury that some people don't have. Some people can't move. And if we can, we need to set the example and set the standard. Now, people aren't going to change because you tell them to. That's not how life works. People will change because of the example that you set. And I try my best to set an example. Now, I've got a lot of baggage. I've got a lot of wounds, a lot of scars from the life that I've led, because I've led multiple lives. I led a very destructive life, arguably, up until my late 20s, where, my value system and my integrity wasn't in line with perhaps what it is now. I thought that, abusing my body and not looking after it was the right thing to do. And that led to me abusing myself mentally as well, because, of course, I created a belief around myself that I had to be a certain way, and those things stay with you. So, it is hard. This is to change, and it's hard to inspire. But I try my best now to inspire people to say, well, I'm not perfect. I struggle sometimes. I struggle a lot of times with what I've got going on here and my circumstances, to try and do what I want to do. But it's all worth it because I've got the privilege, and it could have been very different for me, because if I had carried on that path, I wouldn't have been able to do what I do now, and what I do now is brilliant. I was fortunate enough to do a radio interview the other day, and the guy interviewing me said, "Did you wish you got fitter sooner? And I said no, because if I'd have got fitter sooner, now wouldn't be as good. And I like now because I'm nearly 50, I'm 48. I'm in really good shape, I think, for my age. And I can change things and I can do things. And I can pick my daughter up who's nearly foot with one hand off the floor and carry her upstairs. And these are things that some people just can't do. And we need to cherish those things and we need to be grateful. And you need to be grateful for running if you're able to do it. Forget pace, forget all that, forget all the comparison. Yes, if you want to perform at a certain level, you need to look at your performance, but that's not personal. Don't take your performance personally. It's just your performance. You need to be able to look at your performance without making it about you. And that's how you improve it, and that's how you get better. So I wanted to do this, like I said, a little bit off the cuff, because I think, again, recently it's easy to get caught up in swirls of dislike and hatred and discourse. And let's remember, as runners, what we can do here. We can set the standard for empathy. We can set the standard for encouragement. We can set the standard for inclusion without having it to be a massive deal. We don't have to make a big deal out of things. We can just do what we do. And we can welcome more people to parkrun, to running events, to our running clubs, to whatever it is we do, and make it so everybody feels like they can use this wonderful sport to influence themselves first and foremost, and then hopefully influence others to do the same. Because again, on Sunday, it just always renews my faith in humanity and renews my confidence that we can pull together and we can, be compassionate to each other. And that's hard because, we all get angry and we all let things affect us and we all have difference of opinions, and it's easy to let that fire be stoked online and let it fuel and let it burn. And we don't want to do that. We want to feel free to have opinions and have views, and that's okay, but we also want to know that there are other people in this world, and you don't know who you're inspiring, and you don't know who you could inspire to change if you do something, and if you do an event, or if you do something that's inspiring. So hopefully when people see my journey, which started 20 years ago nearly to the day, a weight loss journey, I was a very unhealthy person, they can see actually change is possible. It's hard, and you have to change certain things about yourself and the way you see things, but it is possible. And exercise, physical activity, when I started, changed my life and saved my life to a lot of degrees, and running is just added to that. And I think if we remember that and we go past all the superficial stuff, which can, is important, like the measurement and the tracking and all that, like I've talked about before, and go for the feeling and go for how we can influence and make people feel, including ourselves, then we're more likely to make positive changes in the world and set the standard. So that's the Great North Run review, and a little bit of a thing from me, a heartfelt thing from me I wanted to share with everybody, because I'm fortunate enough that people listen to this, and I do appreciate every single one of you, and thank you for all your kind messages and support on Instagram at 12 Months to Marathon. If you don't follow me already, thank you so much to the Great North Run. Thank you to everybody up there who followed me, who supported me, who commented. Thank you to everybody who sponsored me. People I've never met in person, which is fantastic. I really, really appreciate that. We did some good, and it makes me feel good to know that we did some good. And if we all just do some good every day and we use running as the vehicle for that, then we can really make some positive change in the world, and I want you to know that. So thank you very much indeed to all of you. I appreciate it, and I'm grateful for all of you. As always, don't forget to follow me over at 12 Months to Marathon on Instagram with this podcast. If you haven't heard it before and you are new, don't forget to follow the podcast, please, wherever you get your podcast from, be that Apple or Spotify. Make sure you give me a review as well. The 5-star reviews are really useful. And comment as well also helps, and share this podcast with anyone who you think might need it. But on the whole, I do appreciate you listening to me. Don't forget as well, you can join my running community for the over 35s totally for free. All you need to do is go to my Instagram bio and click the link tree. It's in there. You can click and join, and we can take you away from social media, and we can share some positive experiences over there. So again, thank you so much for listening. As always, if you can get to do the Great North Run, if you are here in the UK or anywhere in the world, I would highly recommend it, because it is a fantastic experience. And I just wanted to extend my thanks to Great Run and the Great North Run again. Thank you everyone for listening, and I'll speak to you all very soon indeed.